Hello and welcome to an MLSGB TV special where we'll be previewing Sunday's MLS Cup final between Columbus Crew and Portland Timbers. I'm Zach Walford and I'm delighted to be joined by Ben Ashton to talk about Columbus Crew's chances. Louis East will then join me to weigh up whether Portland can win a first MLS Cup title. So Ben, Columbus Crew looking for their second MLS Cup since 2008, 2015. What do you rate their chances?
Very good, obviously. Playing at home gives them an automatic slight advantage over the visitors. Obviously, the 2008 one was quite a while ago now, so none of the players in the squad will remember that. So it's a clean slate for them, a first experience of MLS Cup final. And what I would say is that the two sides going into this couldn't be more evenly poised. There's nothing to split them at all. Identical records in the regular season, which is remarkable, and also their head-to-head record since Portland arrived in 2011 has been 2 wins for either side and 2 draws, so it is deadlock.
It's deadlock. And how good have Columbus Crew been with Kay Kamara and Ethan Finlay? They've had a terrific partnership.
Incredible partnership. Can't rate highly enough what they've achieved for Columbus this season. Obviously, Kay Kamara and Ethan Finlay, Finlay standout players, but you've got to remember people like Federico Higuain who've supported them very well. And what I like about those two is that they've arrived on the big stage. Kay Kamara hasn't had a great regular season and then crumbled in the playoffs. He's come to life in the playoffs and not single-handedly, that'd be harsh to say, but he's taken it by the scruff of the neck and pulled them through. And he's scored goals in these playoffs. Is what you want your big players to do. You want them to arrive on the big stage and produce, and that's what he's done.
So they're two of your two key players. Is there anyone else that you think could change the landscape of this one for you, for the Crew's perspective?
I'm a big fan of Tony Charney in midfield. He's solid. He's going to have to reproduce those kind of performances again. We know the talent Portland have going forward, and he's going to be a big man in stopping that and stemming the flow if they're going to win this game.
Okay, and we was talking about the home form that the Columbus Crew have and the 12th man. However, they did lose at home 2-1 earlier in the season to Portland Timbers in their one and only game they had in the regular season. Yeah. Is that a psychological effect that they can be a little bit worried about?
I think they have to accept that it is going to be a psychological factor. As much as you try to think it's one game, it's one final, that is going to play a part because you played this team just over 2 months ago, not long ago, similar sides, similar tactics. You know that's going to be in the back of your mind, but they do just have to try and remember that they're at home, they've got the advantage, they've shown good form in the playoffs, they've won their games well at home on home soil, the support of their crowd, and I think they've got to utilise that to their benefit. And
there was also, with Federico Higuain, it's a bit of a battle of the Argentinian maestros with Diego Valeri as well. In terms of effect, do you think that Federico Higuain is going to have more an effect on the game than Diego Valeri possibly?
It's tough to say. It'll be an interesting battle. Obviously, they're both great providers for their teammates, and it's going to be whichever defence can nullify the threat from those two players on the night. I think Columbus Crew do have an advantage again, like I say, because they're at home, and it's worth remembering that no home side has failed to win MLS Cup since they've introduced the home advantage. No visiting team has come away and lifted an MLS title, so they know that they've got that in their favour and that Portland will be breaking records if they come here. So Columbus, it could go either way. They could say, okay, we've got the pressure on us because we're at home, but they've got to try and utilise that as a positive.
Absolutely. And also they don't have some big name expertise final mentality. I was looking through some of the squad and some of them haven't been used to playing in final football. Does that sometimes also have an effect because you can prepare the same way, but it's a different mentality playing a final.
You can use it in different ways. I think sometimes the nerves can get to you in a negative way and kind of overwhelm you. But I think it can also work in a positive, is that they have nothing to compare it to. So this is a first experience for them. They can just enjoy it, embrace it. They don't know when they're going to get another MLS Cup final, so they just got to make the most of the occasion and just enjoy the day and try and lift a first title since 2008.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. I'll be joined by Louis East next as we discuss Portland's hopes of clinching their first MLS Cup title. So, Louis, you tipped Portland to win MLS Cup at the start of the season. They've now come this close to winning their first MLS Cup. Can they do it?
I would like to say if any team can do it, I think it's the Portland Timbers. I mean, there's numerous reasons why. They've won more away games in MLS in 2015 than any other side. Straight away, that stat jumps off the page. I mean, Columbus haven't got the best home record. They're not unbeatable. And Portland seem to go away to teams that have better home records. They produce great performances. They win games. We saw them go to LA Galaxy at the end of the regular season and score 5 goals. So they won't be scared at all, Portland. And when I spoke about them being outsiders, because I thought they'd come back fighting from the fact that they missed out the playoffs last year, and that's exactly what they've done. They deserve great credit for the way they've played. Caleb Porter deserves great credit for how he's organised his team, and I think they can go all the way and do this.
We was talking in an earlier podcast about how the foundations were already there, and there was only a couple of additions. Nat Borchers come in, Liam Ridgewell's had a full season. You talk about their strong defensive partnership, and I mean Liam Ridgewell missed out on the second leg in Dallas, but that could be a reason why they may have conceded 2 goals. But aside of that, they've been excellent in the playoffs, unbeaten in their last 8 in all towards the end of the regular season and also the playoffs.
I mean, that in itself, that gives you a lot of confidence. You're in the best form of your season at the best time. You've got 1 more game left in the whole year. You could be MLS Cup champions. So the form, as you say, is vital. And that defensive setup, I think they've got the 4th best defence in the regular season. So you've already got the foundations there. I thought Paparato came in on Sunday against Dallas and did very well. I know they conceded 2 goals, but that was always going to be a tough game. Nat Borchers, the likes of Alves Pau, Jorge Villafana, these players are always in the side. They rack up appearances between them. They're used to playing. And I think that defensively they might be able to shut out this Crew side, albeit a Crew side with so much attacking potential, as Ben mentioned earlier.
And speaking from the defence, let's go attack. Fernando Adi, 18 goals.
Fantastic.
He's
player.
Been brilliant, hasn't he?
Fantastic player. Great player to watch, and great to see him do so well. I spoke in a podcast last week about how impressive it's been seeing a player come across at the midway point of the 2014 season, adapt very quickly, and then come into the 2015 campaign full of power, full of passion, and he's really, really done a great job in leading this Portland attack. I mean, they've got creators all over. You mentioned Valeri earlier. You've got Darlington Nagbe there, Rodney Wallace, Daron Asprilla. But Addy's the man who gels them. He makes it all click. He's a target man. He can hold the ball up. He can shoot from distance. He can score from close range. He really gives you everything, and that's going to be great to see him against Kai Kamara, 2 of the league's most powerful attackers going head-to-head in what I think could be one of the most memorable MLS Cup finals of all time.
I was speaking to Ben earlier about player mentality and players who've played in cup finals. Nat Borchers has been in 2 MLS Cup finals with Real Salt Lake. Will Johnson also has played in an MLS Cup final. And not to forget, Liam Ridgewell won the League Cup with Birmingham in 2011 against Arsenal. So they've got players there that are used to big games, should we say?
Yeah, I think that is important. It's something that doesn't jump out when you look at the Columbus team. So maybe it does give Portland an edge, especially away from home, because the atmosphere is not going to be in their favour. I mean, they're going to be playing against an away crowd, a very fierce Columbus crowd. But we saw them go to Dallas, get a 2-2 result, which was vital for them. They fired them through. They went away to Vancouver and won 2-0 against their Cascadia rivals. So if anyone can do it, I honestly think this Portland side can, and I think they're going to surprise a few people.
And who do you think is Portland Timbers' key player? Would you stick with Fernando Adi?
I think it'll be Adi. I think he's got to make the difference. Nagbe's important, but Adi's the man who's going to have to score the goals, as he did in the reverse in the fixture in the regular season. And
also the result. I think it's going to be a Portland win.
I think Portland might just edge it by the odd goal.
So 1-0 or 2-1 kind of win.
2-1, I'd say.
Okay. Thanks, Louis. It promises to be a memorable final between 2 of the league's most attacking sides, and we cannot wait for the kickoff and hope that you enjoy the game. Remember to visit us at MLSGB.com for more build-up, and you can also follow us at Twitter at MLSGB with the _, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes. Until next time, that's all from us here at MLSGB. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.